Hi, I'm Ralph. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be doing several new things that I've never really done before, or at least not done on video before. First off, I'm going to be doing a top sirloin steak in the sous vide method. Now, I have never made a video on sous vide. I've never even cooked on sous vide prior to last night. I got some brand new equipment this week. We're going to be trying that out here for the show. And I've also changed things up a little bit. I've got some new seasonings that I'm trying to work with. Y'all have seen me using a lot of the same seasonings over and over, but I found some really interesting stuff that I'm going to try. One of them here is Sergio seasonings. Now, these seasonings come from the Golden Steer Steakhouse in Las Vegas, and I've got several of them here. The Outlaw Rub, Pepper Mafia, and we're going to see how these work on our steaks. I used them earlier this week, and I'm really kind of liking this product. Now remember, when you season a steak, season it from high up because you're going to be getting better coverage. Going to flip this over, get that patted dry here a little bit. Now we are going to let these temper for about the next 45 to 90 minutes, staying at room temperature. This is doing a couple of different things. The salt, and there is a good amount of salt in this seasoning here, comes into play here as it's drawing moisture out of the steak. And then that moisture, through a process called osmosis, is being reabsorbed back into the meat, making it extra tender. Generally, as a rule, the salting and that osmosis process and bringing it up to room temperature and a tempering process is going to help you get the most tender steak. With that said, I've got the next 45 to 90 minutes to just kind of loaf around while I'm waiting on the meat. And so I will see y'all shortly. Okay, we are back from the seasoning portion and about to put the steak into one of these vacuum sealed bags. Vacuum seal is important because that's what sous vide means in French, under vacuum. So we are going to be putting the steak, which I've already added a little bit of avocado oil to, just to make sure that when we're pulling it out of the bag, it's not going to be sticking in there. These vacuum seal machines can be wonderful, because if all you're doing is freezing your meat, it can keep those frozen crystals from forming on your meat and keep all the air out, keep it from spoiling. Your meat will just last a whole lot longer if you use one of these vacuum sealers. Give that a moment to heat up so it gets all nice and sealed in the bag. Looks like it's ready. Done. There we go, all ready to put it into the water. Now, get this started. The water is currently at about roughly 100 degrees, maybe a little bit more, because I did fill it up with the hot water from the tap to give it a head start. While we're waiting for this to heat up, a couple of interesting facts about that steakhouse in Las Vegas, the Golden Steer, where these spices come from, and we're also going to be using a finishing butter that also comes from there. And I'm going to put a link down below to their website, the Golden Steer. I'm not making a dime off of these things. If you're interested in trying the products out yourself, go to their website. If you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, I'm not making any money on it. But I think that they're really good products, so go check them out. But this oldest steakhouse in Vegas goes back to like 1952. The old Rat Pack, used to hang out in there after their shows. A lot of old Chicago mobsters used to hang out there, including Tony the Anspilatro. By the way, his cousin Frankie used to work for me when I had a construction company up in Chicago. So if you're watching Frankie, yo Frankie, hi. Okay, we're almost up there. I'm taking this up to 130 degrees. That should get us to our medium rare internal temperature. Just about ready to put this in. And it's going to be in there for about the next 2 hours. Okay, we're basically at that 130 degree temperature. We're going to be putting the vacuum sealed bag with the steak in it in there. Now some people will clip these things to the sides. I have no need to do that right here. Some people have even used magnets in between, but I think this is going to work just fine. Got a little lid to keep the heat in there. So currently 129.7 degrees. So we will be back in about 2 hours when it's going to be time to put on the final sear over in the cast iron pan. So I will see you then. Okay, I've just pulled it out of the sous vide bath over here. And it is obviously not very appetizing if you were to eat it right now, although it's fully cooked inside. But what I am about to do next is I'm going to pat it dry here. Then I'm going to let it set. I'm going to set my timer. And I'm going to let it rest for about another 5 minutes. The reason I'm doing that is it's perfect inside right now. Like I say, it's ready to eat. But we need to put the sear on it. And I want to give it enough room for the temperature to come back up while I'm putting the sear on it. So it's not going to be seared for very long, but I don't want that to screw up our doneness inside. So 5 minutes, I'll be right back. Okay, it's time to put the sear on. The resting time is over. I've checked it with the instant read thermometer, and it's down to about 122 inside, so we've got lots of room to put a very good sear on it. I'm going to try doing it about 30 seconds per side, flipping it over a little bit. Got a good, hot, searing cast iron pan here. Time to flip. Okay, that completes one full flip, 30 seconds on each side already. So now we're back on the original side. Try to soak up some of that fond down there on the bottom. There's lots of good flavor in that. We're starting to develop a nice little crust here. But this is looking pretty decent. I don't want to overdo it because I don't want to ruin what I've already done with the sous vide, where I should have nice edge-to-edge color inside. I'm trying to avoid some of that gray band by not overdoing the sear. A little bit on the sides. This is looking terrific. So I'm going to let it rest here for another about 5 minutes or so. But here I'm going to try some of that golden steer, compound finishing butter. I don't know if I can pronounce this. That's the label on the one I'm using here. Dyonge butter, tangy garlic butter, compound butter. So I'm going to put a little bit of that. And then we're going to let it rest for about the next 5 minutes. With sous vide, you really don't need to let it rest for very long. I'm just giving it a time for the juices to kind of come together and for that butter to kind of disperse over the steak itself. So we will be back in just a moment to see how this turns out. Okay, we're down to the final last step, cutting it open, seeing how it turned out, giving it a taste. Why don't you come over here, check this out up close. Let's cut it open, see what we've got. Oh, that slice is so nice. Look at that. That is really super. Check this out. That is a nice finish. That is nice surface to surface color. Still has a nice sear on it. We've got to try this out. That is so juicy. That is so tender. It tastes every bit as good as it looked. That seasoning is fantastic. Just as a recap, we used that Golden Steer Sergio's seasoning. The finishing butter, that Golden Steer finishing butter. I mean, this stuff is good. Like I say, they're not paying me for this. If you click on their website down below and you decide to buy some, I'm not making a dime off of it. But it's just that good. Here's the final test. Gunner. Is it Gunner approved? Gunner, come here. Ooh, this is Gunner approved. Tell you what, this is so easy, it's like cheating. But you know that old saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Gotta give some sous vide a try, and you're gonna love it. You really are. So if you enjoyed the show, give me a like down below. Maybe consider a subscription. I love my subscribers. And you know who I love more than my subscribers? People who leave me comments. I love comments. I get some of my best ideas from people who leave me comments. Those are the people that told me, Ralph, you've got to do sous vide. So leave me a comment. So until next week, I will see you later. Bye-bye.